Say it's Sunday morning, March the 28th, 2021, and I'm going to say welcome again to the Interfaith Truth Center, where people of all beliefs can come together in an atmosphere of love and peace and unity. We're glad to have the family here with us this morning, and I know we're all appreciating the safety and the consideration that the center offers in regards to safe distancing and making sure that we feel okay and feel safer to be here. But things are getting better, out there. People are getting inoculated and shots, and I don't know, things are getting feeling a little safer. But keep your mask on. I would suggest that we can continue to follow those protocols. But we're happy to be here this morning, and we're happy to have our Facebook group here with us this morning as well. In the event that you want to come out and see us sometimes, we're located at 4791 Austell Road in Austell, Georgia. We're a metaphysical center, and we provide all types of services and activities and trainings and information to the community. We are a service organization service. We provide a community service to the community. We are also a gift shop, and you can come in and get your supply of crystals and take a look at what we have here. We have all types of metaphysical products and goods. And I'm going to invite you to our website. It's at interfaith.com. You can take a look at our website, and you can find out our schedule of events, what we're having and when we're having it out here at on Austell Road. We welcome you to be a part of all of those events. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you just visiting our website. Come by and do some shopping if you like. Meet the staff. We have a great, wonderful staff here. Just an awesome collection. I call them a collection of volunteers who actually provide the services there. We love them dearly. They pour their love out to you, and we on the staff, we try to pour our love off and out on them as well. So come out and visit us. Check us out on the website, www.interfaith.com, and take advantage of some of our services and products and just gifts and things that we have to offer. So again, welcome. Happy to be here. I appreciate the opportunity to share. Being a part of the Interfaith Truth Center family has been a blessing for me and my family. I've grown up quite a bit just being a part of the family here. I'm a big girl now. I do appreciate the opportunity to share this morning. So this morning, let me kind of, for the sake of our joining audience, let me tell you what our thought for the week is that simple acts of unconditional love can make extraordinary things happen. And I'm going to add to that in your life and in the world, basically. So simple acts of unconditional love can make extraordinary things happen. That's your thought for the week. You may want to carry that thought with you through the week. And today's message, the title of today's message is Acts of Eternal Unconditional Love. That's what we're going to be talking about this morning. So before I go any further, let me ask you a question, because I was curious when I was meditating and pulling this message together over the past few days, and I wondered, do you think me foolish? Do you think it's odd of me, or I'm somewhat naive or Pollyanna-ish to just imagine and believe that unconditional love, as a state of being, experience, a way of life, can actually be possible for humanity to experience and express and demonstrate? Am I being foolish to really think that, as I'm looking around at the madness and the craziness of the world that we live in, that it's just something better? I don't know. How do you think? How do you feel about that? What do you think? Do you think it's possible? Do you think that we can experience an unconditional love? Yes. In our lifetime, in this day and time, in the world that we live in? Well, I'm looking at heads going, yeah, and I'm hoping that you're agreeing with me too. It's absolutely possible. It is absolutely possible. So what do you think it's going to take for us to see more and more and more of us loving unconditionally? What is it going to take? Less judgment. I heard. Anybody else got some suggestions? Less judgment was definitely one of them. More self-appreciation. Absolutely. That's another one. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? Pardon me? Loving unconditionally. And we're going to talk about what that means too, okay? But yes, there is, I truly believe that we can turn our backs, if we turn our backs on the belief that the content of our personal thinking is more important than understanding the true spiritual beings that we are. And understanding that through that, our spiritual being is actually what generates, it's possible to generate the thoughts, rather than it coming from an expression or a reaction or a response to what we see in the world. If we had that connection and understood that our thoughts could very much easily be generated from a higher plane, from a spiritual plane, from above and not below. Beliefs are powerful, and sometimes they seem like they're more powerful than they really are. They look very real to us while we're thinking about coming from our mind, because our mind will make us think that, it's the end of all ends. But most times we don't even realize that our thoughts don't even really truly come from the mind. The mind grabs the stuff and goes with it. So if we put the mind in check, and we turned our backs on the fact that the thoughts are not end of all ends, and that there's other places that we can get understanding from and process thinking, then I think it would be possible. And I believe that we can imagine that more and more and more people can get that understanding, get that appreciation, put mind in check, put ego in check, and as Michelle Obama would say, go higher. Go higher. It's been done before. It's not like loving unconditionally has been demonstrated to us and for us in the past. We have examples of unconditional love. We know what it looks like. We can probably pull a few people out of our memory and just out of our relationships and our connections and our network of associations and things that we read about and studied and teachings on things that we were taught. We can probably name a few people that have demonstrated true unconditional love. So this morning, what I want to do is I want to share with you a few suggestions that I have. Some of them were already named. That maybe trigger your thinking and your thought process to reach for that higher spiritual wisdom, rather than going straight to ego and straight to mind when we start talking and expressing and demonstrating love. But today I want to kind of give you some things that you can do to practice, because sometimes practice makes perfect. Practice makes habits. Practice, before you know it, you're just doing it because you just got used to doing it. So I'm going to give you five or six things that you can do to practice unconditional loving, or get you started in that way, pushing you toward that, having you focus on that higher self, that spiritual being that you will definitely need to be in contact with in order to demonstrate, experience, and express unconditional love. And the second thing I want to remind you, I want to ask you to remember and be reminded of some folk that you know personally in your own personal lives and personal relationships that have demonstrated to you, that you've watched and you've seen, or you've kind of mimicked or followed after them and whatever, and they're loving unconditionally. And finally, I'm going to ask you to challenge yourself to some of these practices that I'm going to share with you this morning. So, it is absolutely a true statement that one simple act of unconditional love can make a difference, extraordinary difference, a miraculous difference in things in your life and things that happen. When our thoughts are toward ourselves and others, when those thoughts can be unconditionally love, or thoughts of love and behaviors and acts of love toward others. If we can condition our thinking, I don't want to say condition our thinking. If we can condition, well, just if we can come from a different place with our thoughts, and we can move those thoughts toward one another in an unconditional love way rather than a conditioned love way. We can trigger those feelings that will have us respond in an unconditionally response rather than reacting to what comes at us and what's said. And if we can just demonstrate, if we can act and behave toward one another in an unconditional way, we can cause a tremendous, powerful, and positive vibration that can resonate and cause a tremendous force of energy that can heal the sick, restore life to the dead, solve any and all problems, set wrongs to right, set captives free, stop poverty, stop hunger, stop disease, stop homelessness, open blinded eyes, mend broken hearts, and many, 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 many other miracles can happen as a result of that high vibrational resignation of positive energy from acts of unconditional love. All these things have happened before. Like I said, unconditional love is not new. It's kind of a thing far and in between the way we live our lives and the demonstrations that we see on the news or in our daily walks of life, and going back and forth to work and ducking and dodging in and out of traffic and ducking and dodging blows and ducking and dodging, snide remarks. You know how the world is treating us. So it's a poor example of unconditional love. The world says it loves. It would fool me, but I still say it's possible. That's not it, but I know you can find it. So we need that kind of unconditional love. We need that kind of unconditional love, that love that's unconditional, that will cause positive things to happen. I mean, I would love to be able to go into a major city at any major city probably in the world and not be heartbroken when I see homelessness. Wouldn't you? Probably have a better time touring the city. Mm-hmm. I would love to read on the news that, they've found a cure for cancer, or they've, all of these crazy diseases that's come along because of the darkness and the conditional love that we give one another has created and caused us, or left us in that shape. That we can, wow, that we thought you were dying. My neighbor, she had a heart attack a few months ago, and unconditional love kind of ran to the rescue. So that's the kind of love that we need today. And like I said, it's not new. It's happened before. I've read stories about blind men can see all of a sudden. I can tell you a few miracles that happened to me, in this century. So I don't have to go back to the BCs or the DCs or the ACs or whatever to find any miracles. I mean, miracles still happen because people do manage to love unconditionally. But today I'm gonna help you with a few suggestions. But first, let me make sure that we understand what I mean when I say unconditional love. Unconditional love is God's pure energy, His source. Actually, if somebody asked me, "What are you made out of, Jean?" I would say love. I would say because that's the pure energy of creation. It's love. So that is my source. That is the core of who that eternal being. Now I'm not talking about this physical body and ego. And ego knows I love ego, so ego's sitting there waiting for me to get on his case. But I'm not gonna love ego. I'm not talking about body, just the body. When you're talking loving unconditionally, where it's beyond what the physical body can do all on its own, okay? I can feel great about you today because you brought me, I don't know, a chocolate bar. It's one of my favorites. I can love you for that. I can feel good. And then tomorrow you show up and you don't bring a candy bar and I am not feeling you, buddy. That's what the body does, okay? That's what the body does. But you know what? The spirit man, the spiritual man, that core, that source, that love is excited to see you whether you show up with a candy bar or not. Just glad you're here and looking good. And you haven't had a bath in 2 weeks. You just came from a camping trip. And, But unconditional love don't account for that. Don't judge that. It's not that doesn't matter. It does not matter to that spirit, to that being that you will need to get to this expression and demonstration of unconditional love. So the definition I want to give you today for unconditional love is loving someone, anyone, all ones, for that matter. Loving them regardless of what the world throws at you or don't throw at you. Loving because love is what you are. That's at the core of you. I can't help but love you. Just like I tell you that you can't help but create, you're made out of love. So if you gave yourself over to that truth, rather than letting mind dictate to you how to do this and how to do that, we need you, my ego. I'm not putting you down now. But starting with the heart, starting with that stuff and that flow from the heart. Because that source is just, think of it as blood. You know, the blood that runs through our natural body that maintains our life. Well, the source love, that is like blood. It's like the source of the being, that eternal being of you, that spirit being of you. That keeps it alive. And you know what? Blood's going to stop pumping one day. And this body's not going to be mobile and alive and moving. But that internal spirit, that love, that source that's maintaining that eternal piece of you, that God piece of you, is going to go on and on and on like that little bunny with battery. That's an eternal source. So when we can love with that source, or when we can react and respond with that source, it's nothing but unconditional love. And also, if I want to put a little tag on unconditional love, I would say it also means accepting another person for who and what they are, not for what they have or what they look like, where they live, who their parents were, where they go to school, where they, who they hang out with. It has nothing to do with that. It is them. It's that what you see is what you get. And you can take them just like that. You don't have to, show up and say, well, where's this or where's that? Because love is not an object. The love that I'm talking about is not an object. The love that the body and the world talks about, that is an object because there's an exchange in that way. They're looking for something in return. I'll love you if. I don't love you because. If you do this, I can be down with you. But that's not unconditional love. So I'm going to give you 7 things. I'm going to hopefully get through 7 things. 7 things that I believe, I really meditated on these, and you all gave me some of them, a couple of them this morning. I believe that if we practice these 7 things, just practice them. Make it an intentional purpose to practice them absolutely every day of your life. Not all 7, you don't have to go crazy way, just get, super focused and do it. I would love for you to do it, but we got to live. We live. But if we take one at a time and just say, I'm going to focus on this one and that one. There's 7 of them, so you can take one a day for a week and see how they work out for you. But the first one I'm going to give you is give unconditional love to yourself. Somebody gave me that. Somebody said, love yourself. Absolutely. You cannot give what you don't have. So if you don't already have an understanding of unconditionally loving yourself, you're not going to be able to unconditionally love me. If you got all kind of strings attached to how you're gonna love yourself, you look in the mirror and you say, "Oh my God, I just can't stand that look. I can't stand you. You gotta lose some weight. You gotta do what? Because when I come back next week, you better be 10 pounds thinner because I am not gonna have you." You know, some of us are really hard on ourselves that way. I mean, I'm kidding, but some of us are hard on ourselves that way. But love you unconditionally. 10 pounds more, 10 pounds less. Love yourself enough to know that, you know what? I would feel better if I lost that 10 pounds. Not that I would look better, I'd love me better. But health-wise, I'll be, pumping up this nice little body that is housing my eternal spirit. Love me. Love yourself. Start with loving yourself. And don't be a people. The first thing I want to throw out in that regards, loving yourself. Stop trying to please people. Because that pleasing people forces you to feel like you got to do something. If I do this, they'll like me. No, 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 no. It is not the body that you're concerned about them loving. It's that core. It's that sameness that's in them. It's that same piece of them that's in them that loves you through all of this stuff, all of the physical, all of the out, all of what the world throws out. Digging through that at the core. So love yourself first. Practice that. Number 2, come to understand that love is not about how you feel. That's a biggie. It's not about how you feel. It's about how you act, how you behave. Love is not a noun. It's not an object. Love is a verb. You do love. You be love. You act and demonstrate and express love. You don't focus on an object and call it, love. When you take away that object and you just take that, put that object aside, it has nothing to do with that object. It has everything to do with just the fact that that's who you are, what you are. You're love. You can't not love. If you give yourself over to the direction of your heart and your spirit, that's all it's got to do is love. So try to think of love in this way, in the way of an action, of an act, of doing, of expressing, of being, of responding. And a good little hint for you. If you're reacting to a situation or a person or whatever's going on, stop yourself. And let that be something that kind of keys you up this week if as you're practicing this. Am I reacting? If you are, roll yourself back in. Go to your heart. Should I respond? How should I respond? Take you a microsecond to go back to your heart. People think, it's going to take forever. No. Microsecond, back to your heart. Your heart will direct you to what to respond. And I'm going to tell you, if the heart doesn't say nothing, that means don't say nothing. Maybe it's time for you to leave. All right? You can leave them with, God bless you, maybe. But that's it. We don't need to discuss this at this point. All right? Get the direction from your heart. Go to your heart space. Get that. Don't react. If you're reacting, that's a good sign that you're not loving. All right? Love responds. Love responds. So the third thing I'm going to give you to practice is to adapt your love to people. Adapt your love to others. One act of love does not fit all. How about that? You might think, well, if I get used to just being this way and acting this way and when this person comes up and this person, no. Absolutely everybody is an individual. So adapt your love, your unconditional love, to that person. whoever it is that comes to you. This one person might come to you broken up and all in bits and pieces. You got to come out of that heart space totally different than me coming and I'm all over, out of space. You have to reel me in. The other folk, you have to pick them up and mend them. Listen to them and give them your time and attention. I'll just grab your arm and we'll be out partying or something, So don't think that one act of love fits everybody. It's not one size fits all. Unconditional love is a conscious decision to make every day, every situation, every contact, every association. It's applied to the individual that approaches you, that enters your beingness, your state. Number 4, remember this, and I caution, this is caution. Caution, red, yellow lights are going flashing. Love can sometimes be uncomfortable. Yeah.
So what would you say, number 4?
Number 4 is love can sometimes be uncomfortable. Love, that's what I mean when I say love don't always feel good. Don't go by your feelings. Because love does not always feel good. Your heart will tell you to do things and you're like, oh my goodness, if I do that, I'm going to be up for weeks. I'm going to throw up. I'm going to just be a wreck. I'm going to be whatever. I can't. Yes, you can. Because your heart is not going to tell you something to do that's going to hurt you or hurt to the situation. It's going to just raise you to it's going to move you. It's going to grow you, basically. So when you're uncomfortable and you're loving, consider yourself growing and expanding. When you're growing, when you're really growing, growing is pushing stuff out and pushing things away. So you're going to have some pressure going on. So whenever you feel an uncomfortability and you know that you're unconditionally loving, just know that you're growing in the process. So you're benefiting as well. Number 5, close neighbor of unconditional love is forgiveness. Learn forgiveness. Now, I'm not talking about allow people to use you as their doormat or their punching bag or whatever. You do have you have a logical mind and you can, when you need to move out of danger's way. But again, even if your mind tells you to react to that situation, don't. Try never to react. When you react, you're giving away part of your control and part of your power. All right? You've given it away. It's out of your control, basically, because when you're reacting, it's out of your control. You've done away with it, and it's off doing its damage and whatever, and it keeps on doing it and keeps on doing it, and you're back here twiddling your thumbs, and everybody's, just don't react. But forgive. Learn that forgiveness is, again, a very close relative to unconditional love. If someone has hurt you or let you down, choose forgiveness by letting go of the anger, of the feeling. Get a tap, get a handle on that feeling, that resentment, that disappointment. Process it. Don't process it on them. Don't process it on them. Do an internal process of those feelings of anger, of resentment. Take it to your higher power. Take it to your heart space and determine how to move forward with that. Do I need to go and have a loving conversation with them? Or do I just need to let it go and, just next time I see them, act in a different type of loving way? Allow heart to dictate to you what to do, how to respond to that. Now, how you act toward a specific person will change depending on the situation. But if you choose to act lovingly and not hold on to the negative anger, resentment, disappointment, those things that's going to well up in you and cause you to want to do something to them, then no, that's not unconditional love. Not even close. Let go of those negative feelings and get to a place where you can forgive. All right. Number 6, show love to those who you think don't deserve it. Show love to those you think don't deserve it. Now, that's a challenge. That's a challenge for me. I'm going to tell you right. That's one of my challenges. I'm going to have to practice this. I was talking to a friend of mine this week. We were talking about how we do certain things for people, and they just seem to just not even, just take it for granted. Don't even appreciate it. Don't even bother to turn around and say thank you. I think he was saying how every day, every morning, he gets out of his car to go into his office, and he usually goes in with a certain person, his coworker or whatever, and he closed the door for her, and she walks in, and she don't even turn around and say thank you. I said, wow, she does it. I was thinking about the next time going first, make her hold the door. But no, that's not what we do. No, that person actually does not deserve me holding the door for them. I know she doesn't, because she's not even grateful. She doesn't even appreciate it. So you know what? Every day, I'm going to run out in front of her, and I'm going to hold that door. Welcome to work, sweetheart. Maybe not that sarcastically, but But do things for people that you feel don't deserve it. And I don't mean that they're, you can identify people that you really don't deserve for me to do this, but do it anyway. And keep doing it until that feeling goes away that you're telling yourself, you don't really deserve this. Do it until you feel okay. Till you feel like, wow, my heart is just bubbling with joy because I'm loving unconditionally. It'll get to that. The last thing I want to give you is to practice unconditional love with one simple act every day. And the simplest act every day you can do is this. Listen, I'm trying to smile. They're looking at me like, what is that? Smile. Give a person a smile. Give a person a smile. If you can't give anybody anything else, give them a smile. Or give them a happy thought. Send love and send light to them. Especially if you see somebody that's all cranky and crabby and, they just whatever. And, instead of, giving back the same thing that they dished to you, give them, I send you love and light. You don't have to say it out loud to them. You could just say it. You could just say it in your thoughts and in your spirit and in your heart. It'll get there. It will get to that person. I promise you it will get to that person. And they'll be wondering, like, what was that? Because they felt that vibration. Because you meant it unconditionally. Unconditional love moves the universe. It moves. It causes things to happen. It causes a change in the energy in and about it. It's a fact. It's sometimes you think it's unbelievable, but a simple act of kindness changes the vibrational frequency of the world. That's why my vision is 75% of the universe loving each other unconditionally. That's my vision. Yours might be 90%. Yours might be 100%. Father would have us understand that we can all do it. We can. So try to do that. Try one of these practices every day during the course of a week. But if nothing else, just do that kind act every day. Do that kind act every day. And like I said, the simplest one you can do is a smile. Don't cost you a thing. You can practice smiling like me. Sometimes my pretend smiles don't work. I have to really be smiling, okay? But smile. So now what I want to do is I'm gonna be ending up in just a minute. But one of the things I want you to do is just stop and quiet yourself just for a couple of minutes or a few seconds, and try to think of one person in your life, in your experience, in your remembrance, in your understanding or reading or studying or whatever that has made an impact or help you understand that it is possible. Help you understand or see that it's possible. Maybe you haven't tried it to try it out yet, but you've seen it in action. Oh, that's that person. That person loved. That was unconditional love that they did. You know, I can give you a few that just off the top of my head. Mother Teresa. You know, she's a person that loved unconditionally. Yeah. Dalai Lama, I would consider him a person that loves unconditionally, for the most part, generally speaking. I mean, probably none of us 100% of the time do, because we're human. We got ego to deal with. I love you, ego. To let ego know I love them. But just try to remember someone. And if you have a pet, whatever your little pet's name, call him out. Moms, your mom, your parents, they loved you love you unconditionally. Think of them, and think of what they do, and what act or how they express that love, and know that it's possible. I know that you can repeat that. You can do the same thing, and you start looking and identifying people in your life and in your situations and in your day, people that are acting out of unconditional love, that you can identify it. And the last thing I want to say is, again, practice it. Rethink what you believe about your thoughts and your beliefs. And do they line up with the true expression and demonstration of unconditional love? Do they? Remember, a simple act, one simple act, not even, 7, but one simple act of unconditional love can make extraordinary, miraculous things happen in your life and in this world. I encourage you to love unconditionally. And remember, you're manifest. So manifest unconditional love, y'all. We need it. Thank you for being with me this morning, and I appreciate you guys. Love, love, love best. Thank you.